Welcome back everyone to episode 18 of my Shadowrun Returns playthrough. It's JRSEVERYN here with you, and I think we finally may have reached the end of the line in regards to the story in which we're playing through here. To recap our last episode, we went through I believe the third floor of the Universal Brotherhood's basement, stomping bugs as we were going through, crushing everything along the way. We got into the final floor and started the final battle between us and Jessica Watts, in which we came over superior over her and the bugs. Lynn Telestrian was trying to sacrifice herself in replacing Marie Louise, and of course we were able to stop the ritual. Jessica Watts ran into the next room. We chased her down and let the bugs have their way with her and devour her body entirely. So, at the end of it all said and done, Sam Watts got his revenge, even though it happened to be on his own sister. But his sister was his killer, right? So, coming back here, we came out of the Universal Brotherhood. There were police officers everywhere. James Telestrian was here. He gave us a couple of rewards. One in which we asked for was to have McCluskey dismissed from being a police officer and back to his citizen, which he obliged with. Another one was we inquired, I believe, about the vice president of security, and I think he ended up offering us a consulting job of some sort with the Telestian Industries firm and corporation. People we can see here on the screen that are left to talk to. We have Coyote, Harlequin, McCluskey. Jake actually showed up, Jake Armitage, and Dresden. If for those who haven't seen him in the last few episodes, to be honest, he's the organ grinders coroner from way back early in the game during most of the murder scenes that we attended to. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. It's Sam, Lucy Warden, Shannon Halfsky's brother. I want to say there was one other, but not bad for. I think we're at almost 18 hours, by the way, of gameplay. And like I said, it was supposed to be 10 to 20 hours. I guess depending on how fast you are or how fast you go through the content in the story. So 20 would, we're kind of there. So that's why I'm pretty comfortable in saying that we're pretty much at the end here, or the end of the line. So, for those who watched from the start to the end, congratulations, you made it all the way up to this point and to the end. I commend you on having watched all of the content in the series. If you like the videos, you like the content, you like the channel, you like what I've done, don't hesitate to like the videos, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel, and also you can always leave a comment in the comment section down below. I like to go over the comments, review the comments that people would leave, and adopt any positive feedback or adopt any positive changes that might actually help the channel. I think one change I'm actually looking at possibly for next series or moving forward is a change in microphone here, so hopefully the sound quality will be a bit better. I know some other things of getting better with the recordings and stuff are the first few seconds of the videos, the outros, the intros, that kind of stuff. Keeping that kind of consistent in terms of things I'm saying and things I'm doing. One thing I did notice, and I just noticed myself saying it so much here in probably the last minute or two, is I say a lot, and I believe I should probably start taking that out, maybe just filling it with a brief pause rather than the word So I'll try to look at, fixing that as we go along into further playthroughs and other games that I'll be covering. I haven't decided entirely if I'm going to do Shadowrun Dragonfall right away. I know I had discussed this earlier in one of the videos, if I was going to look at Possibly covering a different genre. I was probably looking at action RPG or more action playstyle. I was looking at Bastion. I remember I briefly played it, I think on Xbox Arcade back like 10 years ago, and never really got too far into it from what I recall. I can't really remember much of the story to it, so I'm thinking about that. I was looking at Shadowgate as a playthrough as well, because the number of hours in that game won't be as much either. Thinking something similar to what this series was, and it is a different genre. It's more of a dungeon crawler, story based driven game, from like room to room kind of thing. If anyone played the old Shadowgate from way back in the day, I recall playing it on 386 and that with a floppy disk, you would know it from then as well. I don't know if it's a complete remaster or if it's a remake or if it's an add-on or there's additional little bit content. I think there might have been a DLC for it too with a little bit of additional content from the original game as well. Other game I was looking at was possibly the Secret of Mana remaster that I have here on Steam. We'll see. Time will tell. I don't want to take up much more time talking about it here in this video. I might do one more video after this, if this is the final video, of more of a recap, review, and that type of video. The only unfortunate thing is it won't have much gameplay. It would mostly just be audio, so I'm hesitant to do it. I might not. I might do it at a later date down the road when I come back and revisit this series or rewatch this series myself and highlight anything out of the series that I enjoyed. But for the most part now, let's just get through the rest of this. I'm going to talk to each of these characters, go through their dialogues, and see where this leads us. So we'll start with Coyote over here on my left. Coyote, guess that's it. Huh? Sam's killer is bug food. Finally got his justice. Guess so. All that's left is to get paid. It was a little more involved than I expected. She looks back at the Universal Brotherhood. Just a little. Coyote grins. First time. Well, I'm gonna grab Paco, head back to the Union, maybe watch a trade or something, and I could use a long shower too. After that, back to destroying the BTL trade. Gonna give up being a runner. You could learn the business, take over from Mrs. Kubota someday. Back to destroy the BTL trade. Yep. Sure as I'm standing here, I'm going to take a flamethrower to that whole slagging business. One squad at a time if I have to. Be careful. That last place was run by the Yakuza, and they're not going to forget you. Her jaw sets, her eyes harden, and she's Coyote again. Let them come. If the Yakuza wants me, they're gonna find me. Nothing I can do about that. Some people choose to live in fear, but not me. Not today. Today, I run the shadows. Get paid, get dirty. See you around, Lady O-Face. You're quite a lady. I can honestly say I've never met anyone quite like you. Thank you, Coyote. Take care. Your shotgun and you have served me long and well during this entire playthrough. Alright, moving on to Harlequin. The painted the painted elf is watching the scene unfolding around the Universal Brotherhood with a grimace. Well, kid, it's been fun, but I've seen everything I care to see today. I'm gonna get out of here. Is there a problem? ? He gestures at the crowd as he speaks. Look around. Note the members of the press being shuffled away by Universal Brotherhood spokespeople to get a private briefing. The Brotherhood is connected. A damage control team is probably on the way right now. Think they can control the press? One way or another, they will. If they can't be manipulated, coerced, or bribed, they'll probably disappear quietly. There's more, though. He nods his head towards James Telestrian. Note the expression on the UCA's FBI agent speaking to Telestrian. Dismissive, isn't it? That's because there's no love lost between the UCAS and Tarangir. Or Tarangire, I should say. I always mess that word up. They're not going to trust what he's telling them, and frankly, I have no idea what he's telling them. James plays his own game, always has. Do you trust him? No, just like I don't trust you. Don't take it personally, kid. You shouldn't trust me either. I've been manipulating runners like you for years. I'm manipulating you right now. You just don't know my game yet. Let's continue the dance. I have one more to show you. He points at someone in the crowd and smiles. The man sees him pointing and smiles back. That guy there, he's with Ares Microtechnology, enormous megacorp, ridiculously powerful. They've been sniffing around Project Aegis for quite a while now. Clearly they have an agenda that's just starting to unfold. He gives the Ares man the finger. The man smiles and returns the gesture. Government, media, business, all working to ensure the truth stays hidden. Not from me, so it's a massive conspiracy working together? I don't think so. So it's a massive conspiracy. I wish it was. In a way, it's worse. It's a series of conspiracies, conflicting agendas, and pretty jealousies, all building upon, feeding upon, and excreting into an unending web of dread that people wade through every day and call it life. If there was one Dark Lord controlling everything, and we could drive a magic sword through his heart to free the world, that would be grand. Such clarity, such focus at last. So what's the lesson in all this? That I did all this for nothing? He laughs, just the opposite, schmuck. And the lesson is this. The game is rigged. The cards are stacked. The dice are loaded. It's the same as it's always been. Or always was. Every cycle. People in power exert power. Little people cower in their homes, think what they're told to think, and buy whatever product will help them forget how horrible their lives are for another day. And that's why we don't play their fragging game. We don't swallow their Dreck sandwich and politely ask for another. It's why we run the shadows. That's where the real life is, kid. Doe. Reality is living in the places no one wants you to see. Where's here Brockhaus? I thought he'd be here too. He flew back to Berlin. All sorts of things brewing there. He was very impressive with you, though it could probably turn into work someday. But I'd forget about him if I were you. Never make a deal with a dragon kid. They're playing a different game entirely. Okay, seriously, who are you? A friend. Until I need you for something, then I'm a bastard. See you around, Harlequin. Well, well, well. Mr. McCluskey. No longer detective. McCluskey's alternating between trying to look important and trying to avoid actual work. What are you looking at, Tube? Nothing, just some asshole. Charisma 4. Hey, McCluskey, I just spoke to Mr. Telestrian. He said you got your lieutenant's badge. Intelligence 4, your shoes untied. Trick him so you can cold clock him. Strength 5, throw a haymaker. Close combat 5, throw a flurry of punches. Too fast for the orc to see. Hey, McCluskey, I got good news for you. Let's go with intelligence 4. Your shoes untied. Trick him so you can cold clock him. McCluskey looks down at his shoes, and as you drive your knee into the bridge of his nose, he goes down with a thump. Oh, awesome. Groan. Yeah, he's no longer an officer, so he's free to do so. Jake Armitage. Jake shakes his head, smirking as you approach. When you finally get close, he breaks out laughing. I heard the Universal Brotherhood was getting shot up on the police scanner. Knew it had to be you. Did you get her? Did you doubt I would? Oh, I got her. You could say that. Did you doubt I would? Not for a minute. He scratches his mop of red hair. I guess that concludes the story of Lady O-Face and the Dead Man's Switch, huh? You know, I've been thinking, maybe you should stay in Seattle a while. There's plenty of ways folks like us can get into trouble here. You only skim the surface. I heard Mitsuhama's looking for a team and they specifically want a woman. No idea what that's about. And I just got word that something's going on at Crater Lake. The Tiers got it on total lockdown. No fly zone. The whole thing, there could be something in it for us if we poke around. And there's always the Orc Underground. Haven't seen that yet, have you? I got plenty of friends there who are good for a job. Something's bound to come up. What do you say? I'll think about it, Jake. I'm in. Talk to you later. Sorry, Jake. I'm a solo act. Not sure I'm going to stay in Seattle. I'm in. I'll talk to you later, Jake. Good. We can hash it out over dinner. If you want to find me, I'll be at McCracken's later. Got a taste for some seafood. Take it easy, chummer. And last but not least, Dresden. The little coroner is surprised to see you, but he can't hide his delight. Hey, Lady O-Face, I was wondering if I was going to see you again. I guess I shouldn't be surprised to find you here. Wherever there's mayhem, that's where you'll find me. Just making more work for you. Hello, Dresden. How's my favorite body snatcher? Busy. He pops his eyebrows, eager. You know, it's all over the Trivid, right? They found the Emerald City Ripper dead at some asylum out in Snohomish. Of all places, turns out he'd been masquerading as the head administrator or something. They found him dead from some sort of vigilante attack. He leans in, whispers conspiratorially? You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? A vigilante attack, huh? Wow, I might. Hard to say. Why, Mr. Dresden, I have no idea what you mean. Dresden winks. That's what I thought. Well, no one can say he didn't have it coming, am I right? He frowns at himself. That was a double negative. So, the big question, what about the Dead Man's Switch? Now that the Ripper's dead, are you going to collect? Damn right I'm going to collect. Right, the Dead Man's Switch. Almost forgot about that. I'm not sure I care anymore. Damn right I'm going to collect. Excellent, I'm sure you deserve it. How do you collect? I was told I need a secure link to call the number Sam gave me. Can't use my comm link. He brightens. Lone Star's emergency response team set up a secure phone line right here to coordinate their efforts. I can authorize you to use it. Thanks, Dresden. I'll get around to it soon. Guess it's time to end this thing. I guess so. Take care, Lady O-Face. The phone before you has a simple numeric keypad. You can use it to call Sam's law firm and cash in on the Dead Man's Switch. Call the law firm and finish the job. You tap in the phone number Sam's lawyer gave you days ago. The phone rings 7 times before someone finally answers. The image of the lawyer on the other end of the vid phone is noticeably different from the one you saw a few days ago. The noise in the background sounds like it's coming from a bar. Sam's lawyer? Yeah? He squints into the phone and recognition slowly appears on his face. Oh, hey, it's you, Lady O-Face, right? So you got Sam's killer, huh? Yeah, I got Sam's killer. That's right. And I want to get paid. What the hell is going on? Are you even a lawyer? What the hell is going on? It's a little complicated. I'll just slot Sam's video for you. Hang on. He fumbles for a moment and the camera jerks crazily. Then it goes to static and is replaced by Sam. Good old Sam. Sam still looks like Drek. Same clothes, same background. Probably shot at the same time as the first video. Hey buddy, looking good, he giggles. If you're calling this number, that means the job is done, right? He closes his eyes, shakes his head. Congratulations, amigo. I knew you'd do it. You're always the dependable one. More than me anyways. He looks back at you, trying to speak soberly. I just want to say thank you for whatever you did. It means a lot, not even knowing what you did. It still means a lot. Because I know you did something. You know what I mean? I know you made it right somehow. He pauses, tilts his head back. His breath hitches in his chest. You're the only one who ever who ever tried to help me. Ever. Except my sister. She tried. More than once. She tried. I never let her, though. Never let her in. I regret that. A lot. Did I ever tell you about her, buddy? We're twins. We're twins, I guess. There's still a twin after one of you dies. I don't know. Doesn't matter, I guess. He sighs heavy. God, listen. Do me a favor, will you? If you talk to her, her name is Jessica. Tell her I'm sorry, okay? For everything. She'll know for what for. She's Catholic, so she'll forgive me. I need her to forgive me. Just tell her I love her. He straightens himself, shakes it off. That grin is back. Anyway, you need to get paid. Which would be great except for one thing. I got nothing. Never did. You know how it is, right? Sorry, but hey. Thanks again for giving a crap. Seriously, I appreciate it. Oh, you son of a bitch, Sam. Tell you what, if you feel sore about it, look into my family background a bit. There's got to be people with money in there somewhere. Maybe one of them can throw you a few bucks. Take care, amigo. See you in hell. He reaches forward and shuts off the camera. The vid screen goes to static, and the call ends. There's a moment of silence, and then you feel a tug on your jacket. It's Dresden. That doesn't surprise me at all. Dresden, so what did he say? Thank you. He just said thank you. Nothing, Dresden. Not one damn thing. He told me to never trust a dead man. Thank you. He just said thank you. Ah, the end of the episode. So, the Emerald City Ripper. Killings are sensationalized for several weeks. Lurid reports focus on the killer masquerading as the administrator of Mercy Mental Hospital. Soon after, pop singer Maria Mercurial is cast as the lead in Dr. Ripper, a trivid thriller about a reporter who goes undercover as a mental patient to uncover a serial killer. Seattle Newsnet reports a shootout at the chapter house of the Universal Brotherhood. Witnesses claim that a gang of religious fanatics stormed the building for unknown reasons but committed suicide before they could be captured. At all mention of insect spirits, James Celestrian III or Shadowrunners are kept out of the news. 1 year later, the city of Chicago declares a quarantine area between Lake Michigan and the Des Plaines River. Officially, the Chicago Containment Zone is established to fight an outbreak of an infectious virus, but an infestation of insect spirits is suspected by those who know. A mature form of Project Aegis called Fabs 3 is eventually deployed to remove the bug threat from Chicago. The Watts family name has since been lost to the shadows. And here we see we have a bit of a credit scene here. So yeah, Shadowrun Returns by Harebrained Schemes. And Jordan Wiesman as the creative director. I'll let the credits pan through here, just out of respect of the game and the creators and the devs and everyone who worked on the game, and all their names being posted accordingly. I'm just going to read the Harebrained Schemes production. Harebrained Schemes is a small team of passionate game developers led by Jordan Wiesman, the creator of Shadowrun, Crimson Skies, Battletech, MechWarrior, and many other acclaimed properties. Founded in 2011, the Seattle-based studio is centered around collaboration between seasoned veterans and fresh talent. I have their website here, Twitter, Facebook, and a .com for support. All in all, they did a really good job with the game. You know, considering that when I had originally mentioned, like, there was the SNES version, which I really enjoyed the playthrough of that game, story-wise and everything, with Jake Armitage. And then there was the Sega Genesis version, which I never really got through. I still found the SNES version better than the Genesis version, even though the Genesis version may have had a more, or seemed like something a little more, I don't want to say free play to it, but maybe a different take on the Shadowrun game at the time. Because I don't think you were Jake Armitage when you were in that game, but I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and play it and see. The Shadowrun series, I think the only thing else outside of that was something in 2007, which was more like a multiplayer, not battle royale, but more like a Halo 8-man deathmatch kind of game where you had the different classes, if I could recall, and you were fighting each other and trying to get kills and stuff like that. I don't recall it ever being any kind of turn strategy based game, much like the SNES version. And this game really does justice to the SNES version, with the cameo from Jake Armitage and having him as a playable character, and just having thoroughly a story outside of Jake's story. So from the original. So kudos to them. They did a really good job. Music is solid, simple, not overly complicated, I find. Really hits the spot, sets the tone, sets the mood, everything in that throughout all the environments of the game. Graphics were good. They're an improvement on the original graphics, obviously, from 16-bit. But you know what? It does. You know, for me, graphics aren't everything. More so, it's story, music, environment, characters, mechanics in the game. In some cases, where like this game, you have like karma and leveling up, and the different archetypes that we had. Where it was 5 or 6. I can't remember. Probably more than like 6 to 8, something like that. And so it gives you quite a bit of, not necessarily a replayability through the story and different characters, but gives you choice and gives you diversity in the choices that you make regarding your character and the creation of your character. There was a lot of portraits from what I recall. The portraits reminded me of like Baldur's Gate portraits, for those who've played Baldur's Gate 2, and those games as well from, I think it's the West Coast production company. Tales of the West Coast, something like that. So all in all, I have to rate this game as, I'm not going to rate it on a 1 to 10 scale. I'm not going to rate it, based on graphics, based on music, based on, customization, based on any of that stuff. In terms of a review, my review is simply just going to be, if you like the turn-based strategy game and you like a cyberpunk kind of atmosphere, then this game is definitely for you. I would recommend this game to anyone looking to play a game of that type. Obviously, getting to the end here, you've watched the entire playthrough through, so maybe you wouldn't play it yourself, or you have played yourself and you're just coming back here to refresh yourself on the story. Those who haven't played it, I suggest you play it. Those, like I said, who just watched this entire playthrough may not play it, may not see a point to it anymore. If you were just curious about the story in that, and that's all you wanted, or that's all you needed out of it, well, you just got it. So yeah, all in all, Shadowrun Returns 2013 by Harebrained Schemes. Great game. I was definitely worth the 18 hours or 19 hours I put into the game here. I guess, yeah, it would be over 19 hours, close to 20. We'll just say 20 for ballpark rounding. So for 20 hours of gameplay, it was perfect. It was a good amount of time. It wasn't too short. It wasn't overly exertingly long. Like some people's playthroughs I've seen have had, 265 parts or 300 parts, and it's like, ooh man, like for me to watch that kind of playthrough, that's, you see an hour an episode, it's 365 hours. It's worse than most television series you would see, or seasons you would see in television series. So got to keep that in mind too for the other playthroughs I do after Shadowrun Returns here. There was some, looking back on the playthrough, and I may as well just do the review video as part of this and during the credits, there were some good moments. Some of the dialogue I found was actually pretty funny. Some of the selections you could take, not necessarily the ones that were actually etiquette based per se, but even just the generic dialogue that you could select answers for. The McCluskey thing I thought was pretty funny, among a few other things too. So, and some things kind of like, in some games in a humorous way or a comedic way kind of catch you off guard, and you're not expecting it per se, and it comes up and you can't help yourself from laughing because you just weren't expecting it. And then it's, as soon as you read the answer, it's like, oh man, I gotta pick that answer, right? That's gotta be my response. And it's a good one, and it's good to see. I don't know if I'll play any other games from the Harebrained Schemes, based on what I see, like Crimson Skies, Battletech MechWarrior. Mostly Shadowrun, and the Shadowrun franchise is probably the only game I'll play from them. And like I said, we still have Shadowrun Dragonfall, that was released in 2014, a year later, to look forward to, and Shadowrun Hong Kong, which are similar in length. I think they're about 10 hours longer than this series, so I want to say 30 hours possibly for each playthrough. I'm just curious to know if I'm going to be able, and hopefully I'll be able to maybe import Lady O-Face into, the next episode, into Dragonfall. If not, and I have to re-roll the character, well, so be it. But if that's an availability, I guess we'll just have Lady O-Face throughout the entire series. So, timeline on when that's going to happen, not too sure. Like I said, I really wanted to get this game down and out. Took me about, I started, like I said, Halloween, so just about 7 days, 8 days to get the entire playthrough done, recorded, uploaded, available for viewing. And like I had mentioned, I kind of want to consider maybe tackling another genre, something short as well, something similar, but just a different genre that wasn't necessarily turn-based strategy. That was maybe more action RPG, or I don't know if I'll go with RPG, because a lot of RPG games are pretty long. But something else, something a little different, something that might appeal to a wider audience per se, and then that's part of the whole plan, is not really getting stuck in one form of genre, not really getting stuck in one form of game title, or really in one element of gaming, just kind of expand throughout the entire horizon or area of gaming, and then moving into possibly something outside of gaming as an eventuality. And these credits are pretty damn long. There was a lot of people that worked on this. I'm not sure what section we're in, but damn. And they're just in the J's. There's a fast forward button, there's a pause button, and a rewind button. Wow. Outside of just the character creation, I didn't really talk about the combat that much, I guess, but I found the combat to actually be pretty solid. I can't say anything bad about it. I really liked some of the options where you were able to switch between your characters during the combat freely. Like you could take a character, spend one action point, move to another character, spend an action point. You can completely switch, go to your like my drone and use my drone full out before I use a different character, regardless of what character and in what order it appeared at the top during the turn sequence before the enemy's turn. So very solid combat system. It did have a hit rating, which frustrating at sometimes, you know, when you're in 60% or 55%, just makes you think, and having to think a little bit more about how to approach the combat in terms of, you know, buffing it with the aim from mage or taking an a mage with you on your run, balancing out your crew and stuff like that. The other thing too I didn't speak to about outside the combat was I only had died once, believe it or not, and it was right at, I think it was the third combat in the game within the first two videos, and this was on very hard difficulty. So as you guys can see, the death counter still one at the top of the screen. I don't know if next time for the next runs I'm going to put a death counter in, or we're just going to leave it as is, because, you know, for it being very hard, I found it to be not overly challenging, but I found it just to be just right for me, having somewhat little experience in these types of games and that, and how I approach the combats and stuff like that. So, because there was a lot of times during the combats where I may have not been being the most efficient, been the most effective. Like I was kind of wasting action points at times, or wasting turns, or the misclicks, or anything like that, right? So, but yeah, it was enjoyable, very hard playthrough. I didn't even put that in the title or the description. Maybe I'll look at editing the description and adding that it was a very hard playthrough. And then, like I said, for the next game or so, I may not, like Dragonfall in Hong Kong, I may not include a death counter. It just seems to sit there, and I guess someone could always comment, or I could just put it in the intro of the video what the death count is, or how many deaths I'm at. I don't need to have it displayed on as part of the recordings, so I'll consider that in for the next series. But more so for like games that do have high death counts, or deathless runs, I should say, or, you know, any recordings or games I play, like, you know, if I do play League of Legends, or I probably won't record any League of Legends gameplays, but anything that would have like a win-loss or anything like that, competitive games, that I would probably have something like this up on the screen at the time, most likely during the live streams, not during these recording videos. But everything's, you know, trial and error, it's test as I go along. And yeah, for me to try and reshoot the whole 18 hours without the one death being up there or being posted, I mean, and to go back and do it all over, I would definitely probably wouldn't, considering, but unless there's a second playthrough. But as it stands, one death only, nothing more, nothing less. And it just, looking back on that death too, it was like, all I had to do was take Jake Armitage, go to the merchants first before progressing with the story on, or forward with the story, and which I think was Sam's murder scene, because that's when Jake actually left the party. Just have that combat, get through it, then go to the murder scene, and then, like I did when I had reloaded the game, and yeah, it wouldn't have been a deathless run. But oh well, we all can't be perfect. This is some very long credits. It's gotta be close to the end. I don't know, is this the special thank you system or the system section? I have no idea. Because they were in the J's. I thought they went through everything again, like the F, or does it just keep replaying? As it's cycling through, I'm not too sure. Now I feel bad if these credits have just been kept going through and through. So we'll see if this is the end. We just got through Z. And it looks like it just cycled back through to A. I'm thinking. What if I hit the fast forward button? Man, this can't just keep going on and on and on. I should have just picked a name. There was a few Jameses I remember seeing in here, so let's fast forward to the J section and we'll see if that's the case. Then there's no point in displaying the credits anymore because we went all the way through. I'm thinking that's the case. It's just on a loop after the initial. There's a lot of Davids too. Oh my god, so many. Oop, nope, let's not go to reverse. There's a few Jameses in here. Whoop. Nope. Okay. I don't know. Why is it going so fast now? Did I pause and play it? Yeah. Guess we'll give it another minute. I don't know. I do not know. I just feel bad if it wasn't the end. I'm just skipping all these people. Well, you can always look at the credits. Well, if you own the game, you can look at the credits if you ever go to the title page, I'm sure. See if look at Anonymous here. Oh no, Anonymous was under. I just don't know. I just do not know. I'll let it fast forward through one more time. I have that sneaking suspicious feeling that it's just gonna loop over. There's no way that many people can be involved. Right? Yeah, and it just goes back through this section. Okay, I'm just gonna end it there and head back to the main menu. Take a quick look at the content, I think. I'll take a look at the content later. Like I said, there was a Shadowrun Returns Unlimited kind of mod in the workshop that had my curiosity piqued, and I might look at playing that later on. Like I said, I don't think I'll really do a playthrough for it or anything. That may be just something I do on the side. For everyone who's watched, thank you for watching. You've made it through the entire series. Congratulations. If you liked any of these videos, hit the like button and below down towards the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button at the bottom right corner. There should be the watermark. Hit that there. You can subscribe in the comment section down below, or you can subscribe on the main channel page. Thank you everyone for watching. We made it through my playthrough of Shadowrun Returns with Lady O-Face the Rigger. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Stay safe. It's JRSEVERYN, your boy, out of here. Till the next time.